This is why everyone is uniting behind Ibrahim Traore. He is not the only one in the Sahel. There are three brothers who have chosen to set Africa free. There is Assimi Goïta, there is Abdurrahmani Chani, and then there is Traore. But Traore is standing out. You know why? It's not that he's bigger than his brothers or more important than his brothers. No, it is that God has picked this one up as the sign. I want him to be the sign to the rest of Africa that the time has come. We've been speaking about this Africa's time for so many years. I've made plenty of videos and talked about it. That Africa's time will come and that Africa will be free in our lifetime. Is this not our lifetime when the Sahel became free and got independence for the first time ever in the history of the continent? And now we have many more waiting. They are shocked. They are panicked. And so in the same manner that they framed Muammar Gaddafi, they started with the kind of satanic attitude that General Michael Langley is displaying now. They started with that because it's a psychological thing. They start with psychological warfare, right? They start by accusing the person of oppressing his people, of stealing the wealth of the nation to do stuff for himself. They said he's taken the wealth of Burkina Faso, their gold wealth, and he's using it to protect himself and not the people. Meanwhile, the mainstream media has refused to go and fact check Michael Langley and the rest of them from the EU who are accusing our brother wrongly. If it was something else right now, they would have rushed over to the country to go and fact check. But they don't want to go and fact check to tell us truly how in the world is Ibrahim Traore using the money he's making from gold to protect himself rather than to better the lives of his people, which is actually what he's doing. He is bettering the lives. And people are on their own, jumping out and saying, whoa, look what is happening in our country. We've never seen this ever. But they're lying. So the mainstream media, what? If not that we are no longer in the days when they took Gaddafi away, that we are now in a different era where this kind of madness will never repeat on the continent of Africa, they would have already struck. And by the time they struck, you will see the mainstream media rush over there to go and tell you how that, oh, this man was such a bad person. They will bring crisis actors who will come out and say, oh, Ibrahim Traore oppressed me and my family. He even put us in a cage. He stole all our money and everything. That's what he did to Gaddafi. I am so thankful for social media. Because those days when they killed the Gaddafi, mainstream media held sway. They were in charge. Social media wasn't this powerful then. But now that social media is so powerful, our people have been sufficiently, may not even be sufficient, but our people have been adequately educated and informed on what really happened to Gaddafi. And because of what happened to Gaddafi, Africans are so angry. And they have made up their minds and vowed that whatever it takes, a repeat of what happened to Gaddafi will not be allowed again anywhere on the continent, not to talk of the Sahel region where we can now finally boast of being Africans for once in our lives. You want to touch the Sahel? I saw the lying woman called Ursula von der Leyen. I actually prefer to call Ursula von der Liar, who claimed, this was actually a video she made sometime in 2022, which was the time that Ibrahim Traore showed up on the stage. That was when they began to panic big time. Because, of course, France is a part of the cult of colonials who have decided that Africans will never rise up. Because according to the former president of France, Jacques Chirac, who told the truth, uncomfortable truth for once in his life, without Africa, France would descend into the ranks of third world countries. Not just France, but most of the EU countries. Why can't you then come into a fair agreement with African countries and come like a buyer and come like a partner and come with respect and say, hey, we want to go into a business deal with you the way you would approach Saudi Arabia or any one of these Arab countries? Why not come that way? No, we must make sure that they are treated as slaves. Even though they own the resources on the ground, we are going to keep treating them like they are slaves and let them know that they don't have access to it. It doesn't belong to you, even though it's in your ground. And you are insulted on top of that. Before Muammar Gaddafi nationalized the oil wealth of Libya, Libya was regarded as about the poorest nation in the whole world. The moment he nationalized it, Libyans lived the best life you could find anywhere on the continent of Africa. Nobody lived better than Libyans. As a young man in Libya under Gaddafi, if you wanted to get married, you had tens of thousands of dollars given to you with a home free of charge. People, life expectancy went from 0 to almost 100 in Libya. Libya was the most prosperous economy on the continent of Africa under Gaddafi. That's why the man said, this template has worked so well. Let us spread it across the continent of Africa so that Africans will be free. He said to them, stop taking money from IMF. Stop taking money from World Bank. These are the guys who are destroying you. I will give you the money. When they saw that, they were like, whoa. Someone found our secrets. We need to destroy him right now. And they began to carry out this massive propaganda lies. And sadly, our people believed it and agreed with those lies. And they killed our hero. But God had another plan. In closing, let me say this to you who identify as African or who loves Africa and who loves our cause as Africans. Our time has come. Let me be very honest with you. I'm not making an emotional statement. I'm not trying to be unnecessarily sentimental. All right? I don't know how to be. I'm just being realistic, and I mean as realistic as can be. The time of Africa has come. And you know, how you know that Africa's time has come is, first of all, by what is happening with Ibrahim Traore that has now united, and it was at lightning speed. I mean, the moment Langley did that, the whole social media was set on fire, and people ain't just making videos or ranting. They are literally, I told you this already, I'm repeating it. People are pouring into Burkina Faso because they want to defend motherland. They want to fight alongside Ibrahim Traore. These are signs. There are signs that when you see, you can never deny them. This is one of them. Our time has come. And what I want to tell you as an African or someone who loves Africans or who loves our cause, who believes that we actually deserve to be human beings and be treated as human beings, what I want you to do is whatever you can contribute, let's not just stop at making videos. Let us go beyond making videos and reach out to Ibrahim Traore by whatever means we can reach out to him. If you want to be a volunteer, show up. And don't ever stop talking about what is going on in Burkina Faso. Because this part that I'm about to tell you is very critical. It is very important. Pay attention to why you should not stop talking about Burkina Faso. You know, the colonials are not just panicked because they lost 3 countries, because France lost 3 countries, which is, I've explained this before, which is why they are against Russia and fighting Russia to death. I'm going to come to that. But here's what they are most worried about. They are very worried about the fact that if nothing is done to the likes of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso and Abdurrahmani Chiani of Niger Republic and Assimi Goïta of Mali, if nothing is done to these guys to dismantle them, then the rest of Africa will begin to see what life looks like when a nation is truly independent. And then the rest of Africa will begin to see that all these things they call independence in Nigeria and all the other parts of Africa are fake and mere colonial charades that have called them since so many years now. People are going to begin to see the truth. Oh, if Burkina Faso that was regarded as one of the poorest nations in Africa, if not the whole world, is suddenly turning the leaf and flipping the script and suddenly on a race to become one of the most prosperous countries in Africa within just 2, 3, 4 years, then what they call independence here has been fake. And the youths of all these nations that have colonial stooges and puppets as presidents, they will become restive and they will begin to ask real questions and begin to seek justice, and they will begin to seek redress immediately. And that's where you're going to see the kind of revolution that will balloon out of Africa. And before you know it, all these youths that everybody thought have been so quiet and so messed up and so propagandized that they can't even think straight, you will see how something will rise up in the youths of Africa, and they will begin to chase out all these colonial puppets that are sitting there, putting their legs on the nations of Africa on behalf of the colonial powers. These are collaborators. The enemies of Africa don't look white. They are blacks. They are from amongst us. They are sellouts. And because of what is happening in Burkina Faso and Niger and Mali, these guys are going to be exposed in real time. This is what the colonials fear the most. This is why they want to go after Ibrahim Traore, so that Africans don't get to know what they are missing and what they are losing when they are not truly independent like the 3 Sahel states. Ibrahim Traore kicked out all the colonial powers, kicked out their corporations, seized 2 gold mines. I think it's 2 out of 3 main ones. He has already taken 2, nationalized it. And that's why he has enough money to do all these things he's doing in Burkina Faso. Go and see how investors are pouring into Burkina Faso. Go and see. I was traveling to one of these African countries and we stopped in Ghana. When we stopped in Ghana, just on transit, and I saw the national airline of Burkina Faso, before God and man. When I saw it, it looked like an airline you would expect to come from one of the richest countries in Europe. God is my witness. If you think I'm lying, go check for yourself. It was so beautiful, brand new, looked so elegant, so well maintained and well managed. This is Burkina Faso of yes. Nigeria does not have any national airline that you can look at and say, oh, there's none. The giant of Africa. Because it has never been free. It has never had any independence. Whatever you call independence in your country, anywhere in Africa, is a charade. If the colonial powers and the corporations are still the ones controlling the resources of your country and giving you paltry 0 point something, 5%, 4%, 3% royalty. Do you know what that means? That $1 trillion could be made from your resources and you'll be getting just hundreds of thousands of dollars for the whole nation. That's why the nations can never survive without getting the loans that are the bait from IMF and World Bank. It is intentional. I made a 2-part video on YouTube many years ago to explain how France has completely destroyed Africa. And it's not France alone, the colonial powers of Europe, UK, all of them. What they have done to Africa, I don't know how long it will take God to judge it. But today, God says, I have had enough of it. Time has come. Stand up, African youths, and take back what belongs to you. That's why they are angry with Russia. That's why they are angry. You know, they had an agreement with Russia because these guys are liars. They had an agreement many years ago that they were never going to expand eastward towards Russia. And they kept on expanding, claiming nations, Hungary, Slovakia, Czechoslovakia, all of them. They were just assimilating them into NATO. After promising Russia they were not going to do it. When Putin has had enough, Putin decided, you know what, I'm taking the milk from off your mouths. And he came down to Africa and decided to help us us to reclaim. The enemy of my enemy is my best friend. Not just my friend, but my best friend. This is why you should, every day you wake up, you should be thanking God for Russia. Do you know that when Burkina Faso situation happened, Russia had a massive contingent, military, boots on ground? You know what they did? They decided to start putting too much pressure on Russia. Pressure. Before you know it, Ukraine just went into a serious misadventure that they knew they were never going to succeed in. They went and invaded Kursk. It is the same army that Russia had in Burkina Faso that they cut down, or if not almost all of them, and moved them to go and rescue Kursk, alongside the other mercenaries who were fighting on the side of Russia. You see why I told you that the Ukraine war is to make sure that Russia is kept busy so that they don't have the opportunity to help Africa. But they have failed, because we will still move and take back what belongs to us. That's why Donald Trump is looking for peace. No matter what you do for peace, they don't want the peace, because as far as they are concerned, it is an existential threat for Russia not to be in war. Russia must be constantly in war, losing men. It doesn't matter how many men they lose themselves. Russia must keep losing so that they don't get to help Africa. But Africa will help itself, and God is with us. And I know that Russia is also with us. Our time has come, and nobody can stop it.